What's going on, man?
Hey guys, excited to be on here, man.
The TV volume up. Sorry.
You're good.
Problem with
Let me
doing
know if you can
everything
hear me
live is
okay.
We always run into errors all the time.
All good, no worries. Can you hear me okay?
Stand
Hopefully?
by, stand by. You're about to blow our speakers out. No.
We're almost there.
Oh, we're way up.
Which speaker is it? Probably Samuel.
Just do whichever one says Samuel.
Mic check, mic check. Let me hear you.
1 2 1 2. Anything?
Nope. Turn
No?
off all the TVs, Tommy.
We should be able to get them from there.
This is how we're gonna do it live.
Hey guys, no
That's
worries.
the matching TV though.
See how my blood pressure spikes and I start sweating within the first 5 minutes? Can you hear me, Matt, at least?
Yes. Yep.
That's good, that's good. I don't think
Here.
anybody can hear you. At least I
Let's
can't
see
hear you. That's the
here.
problem. Can anybody hear Matt? Let me ask that.
Is this any better? Testing, testing. Any better? No.
Man,
Anybody hear Matt? Let me ask that. Is this any better? Testing, testing.
We can hear
well, they can hear you.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? We're getting there, guys. Thanks for being patient here. This is really on.
What's the volume of your computer?
Oh, that's probably no.
Check it.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Gotta
Thanks for
love
being
it.
patient. Sorry to miss tech check. Really, like it's more my fault for jumping on here just now. So,
This one
yeah.
doesn't have. It doesn't have a volume.
That's Insignia. That's Samuel.
This is the LG, but there's no.
Glad you guys could hear me on YouTube at least. So, welcome everybody.
You're fighting.
We'll get started
Tommy,
in just a minute.
for the record.
I got it.
Can we hear us now?
Yeah, maybe. Anything? No.
This is amazing. Like it was just working. Yeah.
Oh no.
Thank you for being a friend.
We're getting there. People are
I can
patient.
hear you somewhere.
Yeah, somebody's got the volume on one of your TVs here.
All right, I found you.
Slight delay.
There you are.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Good. Yeah, I have a little feedback. Like I can hear myself a
That's
little
because
bit.
I'm standing next to the TV. It's that TV. Yeah. Oh, can't say we don't
There we
do
go.
anything live around here.
Hey, you know what, dude? So you can hear me though now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, awesome.
We're
Yeah,
all
I was saying
running,
it was my fault anyway, man. I like I said, I just jumped on, so I should have came on a few minutes earlier and doing a little tech check with you guys. So
Don't worry about it. This is the way we live. This is the way we breathe. This is the way we do deals.
I was
Right,
saying, this is
everything
real estate
is
investing, right? You got to think
chaotic.
on your feet.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
Awesome,
thanks for
man.
coming on, man.
Yes.
Super stoked to have you. You wanna
Excited to be here.
kick it off and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say thank you so much for coming on. I know you came on to speak to our DealMachine customers recently. We got to get both you guys on here soon. But yeah, I know Nick. We had just for everybody a little background. All DealMachine customers, we do a Wednesday live. Where we have outside experts on to talk about something about real estate. You came on, talked all things like marketing and follow-up funnels and using DealMachine, and it was great, man. So I had great feedback from the people on there. I'll say just a high level, to kind of introduce myself. Matt Kamp over here with DealMachine, run partnerships over here. I love jumping in and doing trainings just because, whenever I come on these, my whole goal here, guys, is just to share what's working in today's market. Because in the end, we're just a tool to help make you more successful. But we know, hey, if we can share that playbook behind it, if we can share a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience from our other customers, from people like you guys who are doing deals right now, the more people we can educate on how to use this, the more value we can bring. That's a win-win. You guys are doing deals and we're more helpful. And in general, like we're an app to help you go find off-market deals, both a mobile and web version. So I'm happy to kind of do anything from give you guys the full playbook today to answer questions, take it any direction we want here. So excited to be on, man.
No, that is perfect. I love to hear that. What I love hearing is DealMachine. What you starting off is DealMachine originally was a Driving for Dollars app, right? I feel, but it does everything, right? You guys understand marketing. You guys understand finding your niche. You guys understand what an avatar is, how to actually prospect, and actually how to get deals, right? In any market, whether or not you're up or down. You need to do mail. You need to be systematically touching your leads. You need to be knowing how to find your leads, how to actually skip trace them. That was a huge thing when you guys rolled out, like, I don't want to say unlimited, but whatever you guys call it, right? Unlimited free skipping. That was a huge game changer, right? Normally you're paying 5-10 cents a skip, and then you're hoping that that data is reliable. So now you guys came in. I like to say you guys really shook things up by providing all of this upfront tools and resources and knowledge for your community. I don't know many other people that are doing that.
Yeah, that was really our goal with that kind of announcement and shift, is just to change how you think about data and how you think about paying for data, and really just try to. Our strategy was, hey, we want to over deliver so much that people at least try us out, and we're really confident that once you try us out, you'll love exactly how to use it. I'll say just quick little announcement here. On July 1st, we're actually dropping a brand new feature. So let me throw this in the chat here for you guys.
That was going to be a big question for today.
There
Trust
we go.
me, I've been following along. I'm
amazing.
about to ask you what
Love
the
it.
new stuff is. I want to know what the new sauce is.
So I wish I could show off everything in the product for you guys. I know I don't want my team yelling at me in terms of showing all of what we're going to exactly unveil. What I will say there is just dealmachine.com/unveiled REIAF. If you go to that link, there we go. That's going to actually give you. I mean, it's a free registration. It's just a free webinar, announcement webinar. We're going to be doing it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. Kind of doing a deep dive training into each piece of this new feature and kind of new set of features here. But the one thing I will tell you is, anything that we do over here, our goal is to listen to you guys and hear what you're saying of, hey, I wish it did this, or I wish it did that, or here's the next thing that you guys can help us with. And, like you said, both of you guys, I mean, we were known as a Driving for Dollars app for, when we first started. That was kind of the niche we carved out. Over the last few years, we've really reinvested in the company when it comes to data and thinking about, okay, how do you use data to be able to build great lists and take action on those? And, now you get the free skip tracing, the unlimited contact information in there. All of that is we're really focused on giving you the data you need, giving you the technology you need to just get more efficient and more effective at reaching out to sellers. And really, like, we want to strip away every other possible reason or excuse that would be standing in your way from doing the things that really matter, which is, hey, talk to more sellers, make more offers, do more deals. So I'll say, like, this feeds into that entire idea. We want to continue to build on that. So if you come hang out with us there, again, just that link to be able to sign up for the free webinar. That's going to have everything from, the unveiling of the new feature. It's going to train you up on how to use it exactly. It goes live at that time too, if you want to try it out. We're going to have a huge new kind of exclusive offer there for you guys too, and kind of a Black Friday sale or Black Friday style type sale going on. Give away a bunch of free stuff. So it's going to be a fun night. So come hang out.
Are those new features, right, are they going to be standard, right? Or is that an upsell? Or is that standard where if they try a 7-day free trial, they're going to get those new features in there?
Included. Well? Yep, it'll be included right in there. It's something like, I'll say we've had some beta testers using it now here for quite a while. Been getting amazing feedback. Like, I'm very, very excited to be able to unveil this thing to you guys. So it's gonna be a fun night. Come hang out.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing it. Thank you for talking about it, because I'm not gonna lie, I have it in the book. That was gonna be one of my questions that I talk about today. I actually, when I was talking to the community, I was like, hey, they got some new tools coming out. Make sure you hop on the call and ask him questions about it. We're gonna grill him and make sure that he tells us what's coming out.
Well, I will say, like I mentioned, everything that we're doing, it's all, our mission is to give everyone the power of real estate investing, and that means tools that work incredibly well and incredibly easy. Easy to use, easy to go out there and just start executing on it. And for, again, as economical as, I don't like the word cheap, but as economical as possible.
Affordable.
Affordable. There we go. As affordable as possible. So that way anybody can just jump in there and start using this stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where we're coming from with this launch. Why we launched the unlimited free skip tracing, last year, and really each new feature of what we're thinking about next. So
you get, sorry.
No, that's all right. I think you just hit the nail on the head with at least how I used, or the appreciation I had for DealMachine when I was using it or am using it, whatever, is it makes the barrier of entry for people significantly easier. A lot of times people get stuck in, oh, well, I don't have any money, or I don't have resources, and or they just only do one thing that they're good at, which is fine, but if you're in a big market like DFW, you need a few different tools in your tool belt, to stand out. I really appreciated the ability for you guys, like the mailer component, right? You can kind of just set it up on a
forget,
yeah,
right?
you just forget about it and it's out there and it's just going and you don't even think about it. Which I used to do, 50,000 envelopes a month type of thing. And I was like, man, this is so labor intensive, so time consuming, building the lists. I really appreciated how it's just like, it's there. It's one package and it's so easy to use.
Because it answers the question that everybody doesn't know the answer to, and it's, how do I find off-market properties? How do I find deals, right? How do I find people that are pre-foreclosure? How do I find people that are a part of probate, right? They just had a death in the family. How do I find all this? And in the beginning, it's like, if you're going to try to get into real estate and try to get in the weeds and find all that, you're going to get lost. And then you're not going to be doing deals. You're not going to be talking to sellers, solving problems, right? So,
or how? Like where do I go, right? So yeah, you can go to any CAD website and look up the owner, but what's my next step, right? So this is like, it's there. Everything is there. You see the address, the house across the street from you, the house that you drove past, whatever. You're at your friend's house and the house next door is obviously vacant. You open the app and you're like, that's why it's vacant. They died, and and you can easily send a mailer out. So it's not just it's not just simple. It takes all these other things that you have to go hunting for and puts them in one sweet little app or website for you. So it's
yeah. I really appreciate you guys saying that. I mean, our team, that's why we do it, is to hear people talk, in that way of, hey, make it really easy and straightforward for you, make it all convenient in one spot. So I'll make sure to share that with our product team and support team and everything. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys. But I think, the kind of the ABCs of this, it's hey, find motivated sellers, right? That's it. A is, how do we build a list of those, identify people who are looking to sell sooner than later, that have a problem that we can come in and solve, right? The next step is, hey, how do we get in front of them as effectively as possible and efficiently as possible? So you talk about the direct mail. That's one great way to use automation to do that. We even go a step further and say, hey, we mentioned like multiple tools in your tool belt. Like we talk about, hey, have a kind of a multi-prong marketing approach, where you have these long-term things like direct mail and other things you can automate that are going out and kind of dripping and get in front of people without you having to do much more work. That's much more like one-to-many scalable strategies. And then we also talk about one-to-one marketing, which, it's going to take a little more time, but it's the hand-to-hand combat of getting out there and, knocking on doors or making phone calls or leaving door hangers on the door or, sending a text or an email, like whatever that outreach method might be. And doing that combination of the one-to-one and the one-to-many, those two things together are going to give you the best opportunity to reach out to someone in the way that they prefer to be communicated with, and enough times that you are being consistent enough that, hey, you really break through. And when they're ready to sell and they have that problem to solve, that they think of you first. So kind of the ABCs of this is, hey, A is build that list. B is market to them in the smart ways, and then C is making great offers to close deals, and really any tool that we create, we kind of try to put it into one of those buckets and really think about how can we help our customers take their game to the next level in all those three areas.
I think the C really is consistency in it, and I really, so again, mail was my primary It was my primary source of getting deals.
It's the oldest form of marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like for real estate investing.
We didn't invent that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's right. So, but consistency. So when you're in the app or on the portal or in the website, and you're like, oh, I want to hit this house, and then, like you said, it gives you options. Oh, do you want long term? You want short term? You could swap it up from letter to a postcard. You can edit your own postcard, right? I mean, there's so much to it, and everyone asks like, oh, how am I going to be successful in real estate, or how are you so successful in real estate? And I'm like, man, you just have to be consistent. Don't worry about December. You got to. What are you doing today? How many phone calls did you make today? How many driving for dollars did you do today? You know, you went to an appointment. It was a botched appointment. The seller didn't show up. Whatever. Did you get 12 addresses and put them in DealMachine while you were in that neighborhood? If you didn't, you did not do yourself a service, because you already were in the neighborhood where you know somebody needed to sell. So if you didn't get at least a dozen addresses, don't come back to the office.
Love that mindset.
That you're not doing it too, right? It's such an easy task. Just the other day when I did a DealMachine masterclass on Tuesday, and just before I was getting it, I was driving to the office with Logan, and I was like, you know what I'm missing from this masterclass is actually driving for dollars. And I was like, real quick, I veered right, I went down a couple of streets, and I found some beat up old house that had tall grass and stuff, and I didn't have DealMachine up. I just took a photo of the house, and then I took a screenshot of my location, and then on the call, I went and I found that actual house. And then what was cool about it is because if you're using DealMachine for driving for dollars, and if I had my filters put in, that house would have flagged because it was non-owner rock, and it was high equity, right? So that would have flagged on two of the things, and then I would have been able to just drive and not have to stop, take photos and everything like that. I would have just tapped and it would have added to it. But just going in and out of your rehabs, going in and out of your work, going home a different route, every day you should be driving for dollars. There's no reason that you shouldn't be.
And if you're going to visit your mom, right? Again, we're always going somewhere. It's not hard. You're already there. Just have the app open, or just have your damn eyes open. Yeah.
It's really more the muscle memory behind that of just getting used to kind of having your investor hat on at all times, right? And just training yourself to always be looking for opportunities. Like even, you mentioned, hey, you can use filters in DealMachine. We've got hundreds of data points you can tap into, between like property data, between demographic data, so ownership, owner data, the contact information, obviously. So you can create all kinds of lists around that data, which that's great and super helpful and easy to do quickly and start taking action on. But even if you're doing that, while you're doing that, you should always continue to keep an eye out for those houses that the number one indicator that they're looking to sell is if they're run down, if they're needing some TLC, if they're in physical distress. And those are always the hardest to find, to scout out. Like they're the ones that don't always necessarily get picked up by this data filter you have on, or this one or that one. So a lot, they're more likely to be houses that have less competition, that are kind of those hidden gems that other people haven't found out a way to get in touch with that individual. So I'd say like just kind of training yourself to always be looking for those opportunities while you're out in your area or your city, and take different ways to work, different ways around town. We see so many people who it's just, I was on my way to a haircut and I found this house. And, we have one guy who's literally in Atlanta. It was last year. He was on a 7-day free trial with us and did a deal because he did that. He just took a different way to getting a haircut and was just training himself to look for these opportunities.
Consistently.
It also answers the what next question, right? So a lot of times people want to get into real estate and they find a house, they drive for dollars, they find a potential lead, but then they say, all right, what next? How do I get a hold of the seller? Well, all you have to do is, and I really am starting to just brag about that system, how much I love it, but you click on it, it'll start drip marketing it, it'll give you the phone numbers, and you just do the work, right? It automatically gives you a CRM in a sense. Like, it's really...
Yeah, we want you to do things that matter. Yeah. And you nailed the consistency thing as well. Like when we look at the data, whenever someone is having trouble and haven't landed that first deal or that next deal, whenever we really dig in with them, it's really two main areas. It's, hey, did you build did you find enough people, build a big enough list? And are you reaching out enough times? Like in the end, it's pretty simply a numbers game about filling your funnel and then being consistent to reach out to them. That when you do that enough times and you do it in effective ways, a deal will happen. It's just a matter of putting in that work. So we want to kind of, again, like strip away and automate as much as possible that we can using technology, and just give you the means to do what really matters. And that's connecting with those individuals that you can find that have problems you can solve, and you can go do deals.
People don't realize that you have to be touching one lead anywhere from 6 to 10 times before you're going to get a contract, right? So it's all these gurus want to sell one call and done contracts, and that's not really real estate investing, right? That's how you become a wholesaler that drops 70% of their contracts, right?
I do one call closes all the time.
I know.
But
those are also on warm leads. Those are inbound.
but yeah, it's I think consistency. Whether you're a realtor or a new investor or a seasoned investor, man, it's so hard to compete with certain big companies as an individual in real estate, especially in DFW. But you can easily do it if you pinpoint a neighborhood or a thing that you're good at, and then stay consistent with it. And then, so, if I have 1,000, I think, 1,000 old leads in our CRM, I tell Mason, if they haven't sold, that's still a deal. Find, and we turn it over. We re-skip it.
I literally use DealMachine for this. Every 6 months or so, we'll take all of our old leads, and I take that list and I throw it back through DealMachine to filter it, right? And I take out who still hasn't sold, right? In that time frame. Well, they reached out, they needed help. Well, they still haven't sold, they still have problems. So let's go back to them and solve those problems. It's a tool that you use 10 ways from Sunday. What I see you have it pulled up here for us, so I didn't want to.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm happy to screen share on anything, guys. If you want me to, I'll make sure I don't reveal any like phone numbers or anything like that.
I don't care about that anyway.
Okay, fair.
So we can do this.
Nice. So if you want me to, I can kind of share a little bit of that playbook if that'd be most helpful for you guys.
If you don't mind.
I think showing the ease, and that sort of the ABC of it. Like, here's one, here's how you would, skip it, whatever, put it in the automation, because I think that, like Nick said, the what's next. I think people, again, you see a distressed house, what do I do? And here it is. It's done for you. It's simple. It's right there.
Yep. And really, the real answer to what's next is just the sooner you can talk to that owner, the better, right? So our goal is to help you identify that, enough people that have that problem and have a situation where you can come in and help solve them and solve that for them by offering all the tools we have at our disposal to help them move quickly and conveniently and as is, and without commissions and all, anything that we can come in and really provide value to them. And then, using technology is okay, great. How do we get you to that point as quickly as possible to know that individual is highly likely looking to sell, and then also give you the really easy way to get in touch with them? So what I'll say, the kind of what you're looking at here is I'm sharing DealMachine on desktop. We do have a mobile app, obviously, as well. That's what we started as, was our Driving for Dollars app, like both you guys mentioned. That was the thing we were most known for. Over time, we've added all these kind of ancillary things to kind of help complement what to do from there on how to think about alternative ways to build that list, and then also, again, take action on those addresses and turn those addresses into warm conversations. But what I can walk through here, guys, I know everything I show off in here too. If anybody wants to try this stuff out for free for 7 days too, we do have that link. I can throw this in the chat too here for you guys. That's just DealMachine.com/REIAF. That will give you guys a much better deal than just going through our site. I want to make sure we really treat your people well too here, guys. So we have a 7-day free trial. So you're trying all the stuff out, that we show off on the screen share for free. It comes with the unlimited free skip tracing, like you're talking about here. So it's unlimited on the map. Any property that I click on, I've got the contact info right there. You can, if you're on our starter plan, you can actually pin and save up to 10,000 leads. So normally that would
in certain cities.
It's all over the place, anywhere in the U.S. So
nationwide is what. Yeah,
nationwide.
that's what I was trying to stress, right?
Yep, nationwide. all 50 states. And then again, the starter plan, you can save up to 10,000 leads in your account. So that would be, $1,000 plus of skip tracing typically if you're going to pay for it, right? So that's included right there. And then you also get 50 bonus postcards too. So the direct mail that you guys are talking about, that's going to, we'll give you like a little kind of starter pack of that too, through that link. So if you want to try any of this stuff out, follow along with me. That's all right there. If you want, guys, I can kind of give you that ABC. I mean, what I'll say is, last year we hit the milestone of 10,000 deals done using the DealMachine app, using our technology over, we've been around since 2016, 2017. What we can talk about is saying like, hey, here's what those people are doing. Here's kind of, if you like, I can kind of give you those ABCs, a quick little crash course of, here's again, like the 3-step playbook of building your list, marketing your list, closing deals, and how to use DealMachine to help with that stuff if that works.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. Cool. Feel free to jump in with any other questions. Again, anything but what are you unveiling on July 1st? I can answer. So
we'll trip you up. We'll get you to flip something.
I need to have my product teams over there, so they might they'll yell at me if they hear that. That's funny.
See somebody drop kick him.
Yeah, right. Shut off the computer. All right, let's see here. So inside DealMachine here, what I can show you guys to start off with, what you're looking at again is the web version. We have a mobile app for D4D. You can use it for a lot of this functionality in general. But I'd say like doing kind of a combination of the two is what most people would use it for. On the web right here, again, if you are going to drive for dollars, what it's going to do is it'll lock onto your location. So, I'm in South St. Louis right now. If anyone else is in St. Louis, I'm always looking to connect out here. So, reach out to me there. I'd say inside DealMachine, what you're seeing first and foremost is you've got kind of a view of all properties around you. And now, when you start locking on, again, it'll lock on your location. When you start driving down the street, you'll see that, hey, on Wary Avenue right here, if I see a property that, is at, let's see here, 5613 Itasca right off Wary right there, if that in real life is a rundown house, again, it'll lock on your location. So it's driving around with you. You simply look at the app, you click on that property, you touch add lead, don't overthink it, and you move on to the next one. As simple as that. Here, let me get a little bit of better internet connection here for me. Simple as that. You just tap on that property, tap on add lead, and it pins that property. So that way you're building your D4D list on the go, and you move on to the next one. So click, hit add lead, pins it for you. Awesome. So the real variable there is like you don't have anything crazy to do in the app on this first step. It's just a matter of, hey, really training yourself to look for those houses, again, that have the broken board up windows, the gutters falling off, the front yard, backyard's a mess, the just really outdated. It's got a window AC unit. It's got really overgrown grass. It might be vacant. That's a great sign of vacancy. Or the really overstuffed mailbox. These kind of one-off signs right there to show you like, hey, for whatever reason, the owner just is not able to keep up with the appearance of that property, or does not want, or either they can't or they don't want to. One of those. Is there anything, when you guys are driving for dollars, is there anything specifically you guys have really found or kind of good signals there?
So we always do last sale date. We always make sure that it wasn't within the previous 10 years, right?
Yes.
So that's a big, previous sale date is one that we always look for. DealMachine makes it very easy for those to stick out. And then another one that we'll do.
Non-owner occupied.
Yeah, non-owner occupied, right? So those are two that we'll pair together almost every time.
So you get into the D4D, I guess best practices to even start with is just, hey, rundown house, great. If you want to take it to the next level, what you guys are talking about here is using data and layering that on top of your map right here. And so what you can do to begin with, you can see, obviously you've got, the map right here. You can actually even toggle this over to satellite view. So you're looking at the rooftops, makes it a little easier to kind of make sure you're clicking on the right house.
I'm trying to get them to add counties. So the maps are overlaid.
we're working on it. We've got honestly, any new suggestions like that, our team loves to hear that. So
I have one more, and we'll go over it at the end.
Nice.
Because it might be a feature. I'm going to ask if there's a way to do it.
Fair. So I'll say, if you're in that area, again, to overlay the map, you'll see all these filters up here, and in the mobile app, it's down on your screen as well. All these filters you can use to pull a list from it, or to when you're driving for dollars, you can use it to highlight properties around you that fit that particular tag like you're talking about. So what I would recommend, you mentioned, hey, owner occupied, or what was it, out of state? Is that what you said?
Non-owner occupied. So
non-owner occupied. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So if you go to if you never know where a particular filter is, out of all these options, go to more, and then search it so you can see owner, and if you've got owner type, let's see, owner location is not owner occupied.
I just put on the absentee owner filter.
Or absentee. Yeah, you can do either one will work.
Yep,
either one will
it
work.
is, yeah.
Yep. Confirm that. And now, cool. Now we've got properties that pop up around me that fit that exact filter. And you talk about high equity, you talk about sale date, all those are in here. You've got high equity, you've got off markets, that way you know that they're not not listed, they don't have their hand raised already. Perfect. And we can talk about pulling a list with this, but these filters are a great way to help you kind of identify houses as you drive around that not only are physically distressed, but also fit all these other data points that you're trying to identify. So
I think the most powerful, one of the most powerful things behind the app on the app on the phone is when you're at an appointment and you're done, you should easily be able to put, I know in every neighborhood I go in, there's like 3 on the same street, let alone on the streets to get into that one. So you got to challenge yourself to, before you drive away, just open the app and look and be like, there's 4, there's 2. You never know if one of those, the house you did or didn't buy, the one you just came from, that you were just there. Nothing's better than your own eyesight. So
absolutely,
just put them in.
Mm-hmm. I think that as real estate investors, like we're out in the field, we're always we're out in our neighborhoods like this, we're on appointments and things. So use that as a scouting opportunity. And again, it's about training yourself to just look for these opportunities. Always have that kind of thinking cap on there and your investor hat on there, and continue to just I'm driving down the street, I see a house that looks vacant. Awesome, let me hit that lead, add that, and keep going. So our most.
On the flip side of that, you might think, right, the house across the street you pull up to and you're like, oh my gosh, this one's not that bad. The one over there, I can't believe how bad it looks. You might click on it and realize that it just sold, 6 months ago, right, or whatever it is. And so, whereas you might have went and spent all this time deep diving into that address, going to all these other different websites to find out the details on it, and you just wasted your time, where in 30 seconds, you could have just opened the map, clicked it, and been like, yeah, that's a good one, and hit, add lead.
Disqualifying a lead is just as important, as important as qualifying one, right? Actually following up on them and such. So.
Oh yeah, and there's a variety of ways you can kind of almost like lead score in real time using this. There is a feature whenever you're adding leads and pulling lists and driving for dollars, or even importing leads into DealMachine. If you were to ever duplicate a single address in there, this is a great way to kind of score your leads in real time. Is there's a list stacking feature too. So say we were to drive by 5623 Walsh right here, and I added this lead as D for D. And then I also imported a list of leads I had somewhere else. I also, pulled a list of leads that I'll show you guys here in a second how to do that. And I added that same address 3 times. When I jump into my leads tab, I'll see that Walsh address right there, and there'll be a little number 3 right next to it. And it'll show me, hey, here's how many times it's been added to DealMachine. And that way you're never duplicating your marketing. It's not, marketing that same address over and over again. And also it's showing you, hey, if this has been added 3 times, maybe go after this one first, because it is a higher priority.
So you can actually sort by that and hit those first, right?
Yep, exactly. So you can go in here, and I don't know if I'll have any, with this demo account that have more than a 1, but it'll organize that for you and say, oh, here we go. We've got a couple with 2 right here. I pulled them in 2 different lists. Awesome. Let's start there. So,
you know what I found, because I use a lot of different systems. Obviously, we're a big shop. Other systems don't scrub the DNC list, right? And it doesn't, not even does it, you don't know if they scrub it or not, but it doesn't specifically highlight it. You guys actually say, hey, listen, this is their number. They're on the DNC list. Use at your own will, right? So, and I tell everybody, skip over them, right? It's not worth the lawsuit because they are cracking down on it. But if I go to use Investor Lift, right? Investor Lift has all these numbers on it, but I have no idea if they're on the DNC, if they've been scrubbed, if they haven't been scrubbed, right? So that is one thing I love about your system. It's already scrubbing it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's part of the skip tracing piece, or the contact information that's included right there. Is you'll go through and you'll see like, oh, there's a very obvious label around DNC or not. Hey, that means it's on the DNC list, so it's your choice from there. And we will just make it very obvious for you to be able to go out and
but just because it's on the DNC list doesn't mean that that's not a deal. It's not. It just, you have to take a different route to it, right? Now,
exactly.
That deal, because other people are going to stop there too. Right, so that deal is one that maybe you're better off going a door knock, and actually
door knock or mail,
note, putting in more work on it, because other people are going to see that DNC and then stop, and then
great point. Yep.
So
and really every barrier,
you can just focus on those and then just deep dive onto them too.
Yeah, really every barrier that you come up against, like that, where people you're then questioning, okay, now what do I do? Like, how do I reach out to that individual now? Every time you can get past one of those, you are dropping off drastically with what other people will be stopped at. Like, you have way less competition for those leads than others. So we try to keep building in tools like that, where if you go to an individual property, an address, you'll see there's associated contacts down here. So you'll see, oh, hey, here's a likely owner and resident, but oh, you know what? Here's another one. And if you can't get a hold of the first one, try the other one. Or you'll see, hey, is there any family members? Is there any likely renters? Like, who all is associated with that individual property? And as long as you can dig deep enough to get in touch with one of those individuals, you are getting way further than most people will stop and not do that extra step, right? So you have a lot of access to data right there. You even have a private investigator tool we're calling now, where if you jump into an individual property, you have a little open person search right here, and if you click on that, it's going to then show you all like LLC, like it searches open corporate for LLC associated officers. It'll pull up other individuals in your area that have that same name. So it's kind of a way to dig a layer deeper and identify properties that other people would stop and not know how to get in touch with that owner. So that we try to keep building in different things here that help you continue to search and do that digging that other people may not even have access to that data because they aren't using a platform like this. So
the only barrier that really exists is an excuse. And so if you're like, oh, that's on the do not call list, if that's 2 or 3 times in your system, but it's on the do not call list, and you don't find an alternate way to get in touch with them, you're just making excuses, and it's just stupid, right? You can't be successful and consistent with excuses. You're not gonna be successful.
One of the, and I just want to segue real quick, one of the things that we preach by in our community are Post-it notes, right? These are the extreme Post-it notes. They're weatherproof and stuff, but we have stamps made from Etsy, and then this one just says, call me about your neighbor in English and Spanish. This one will get responses. The amount of people that call off this one is disgusting because everybody is nosy about their neighbors. All right, so if you want something that is 100% guaranteed to get your phone to ring, call me about your neighbor. And then the other one is just a simple, I want to buy your house, right? But just going out there and doing the work, people want success without doing the work, and that's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, people.
Yeah, I love the creativity. And I mean, again, the technology wouldn't make it as efficient, as easy as possible, but it still takes you going and executing on it. So really within that playbook that I mentioned, if you're driving for dollars out there, maybe you're virtual driving for dollars, the other option that you can do to build a list to be able to go drive is by using our general data filters and coming in here and saying, hey, let me put in a zip code. Let me then filter it down by property characteristics and seller motivations. And then let me take that list that I pulled and actually go in and drive it and actually do take those sticky notes and go out there. And you can see inside DealMachine, whenever you pull a list, there's a little drive this list button right here. This is something, if you're specifically on DealMachine Pro, you get access to this feature. If you click drive this list, it'll then pop up with a route for you and say, hey, for these 232 houses, it's going to take you 17 hours and 13 minutes to go drive it. But here's the turn by turn navigation to every single one of those houses, and bring that notepad along and just now you've got 232 really good leads that you put in that work, and hey, that phone's gonna start to ring. So,
I mean, how many people are out there Ubering that should also be having DealMachine riding right next to them, right? Like, it makes no sense that people aren't doing the work. One thing, and I'll bring up my question now because you touched on virtual driving for dollars, right? So one thing I like to do is I'll just turn on DealMachine, driving for dollars, and then drive, right? And then later on, I'll go back and you can pull up your route through, right, and see past drives. One thing I was wondering is if there's a way, when I look up a past drive and it'll show you that dark blue route, if there's a way to then put the filters on and say, hey, on this drive, on those streets, any of the houses that fit this criteria are now popping up, right? So it's pretty much doing what I should have did in the front side, but now I'm doing it on the back side, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I this is a demo account, so I don't have a ton of great drives for me to pull up. My other account has all the new features unlocked, so I can't quite show that one yet. That I'm using in my everyday business. Right. I would love. I'm more than happy to come back on in the future and show you guys that stuff, though. Anytime after the first is live for everybody. So what I'll say is the past drives right here. If you click into that, tell me if this would work here, guys. If you can just select and pick one of those. So I'll say, oh, hey, here's the route I drove, did a demo the other day. It'll turn that over, lock into that location, and then at that point, now you can start to do the filters you're talking about. So it's already showing you, hey, here's where I drove, here's the leads I added. Well, you know what? If I want to go in here and then identify, single family homes that are off market, and oh, by the way, they're absentee owned. Great, cool. Now, and then I want to get even more specific. I can hit this draw tool right here, start drawing, and say, well, you know what? I drove this area. Show me all the absentee-owned properties in this little spot that I just drove. And now, okay, great. I've got this many that are all ready to go. And let me reload this guy. I'm having a little bit of internet issues over here today, as you saw with the tech check before. And it'll actually give you the properties to pull right there. So you can actually go select an area. Cool. Awesome. Let me clear that off. Perfect. And now do that draw tool with those filters, and boom, you can kind of retroactively pull that list based on what you could have been doing on the drive. Does that help?
Yeah, it definitely does. I pretty much wanted to lock it into those specific streets, right? So instead of pulling 2 blocks over, I just want to pull the streets that I actually drove it down, and any of those, if they matched XYZ, then they would flag. Because in those instances, those are very few and far between. Let me just get that. It's not like a standard practice, but I end up driving for maybe 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, or something like where I know I'm going to be passing multiple deals throughout that route and such like that. And the only time I do it is like when I'm not driving for dollars. Like, hey, this is a good route I'm going to take, but I want to look it up later on. Like that, and that's when I do that.
Okay. Yeah, we are definitely, I'd say, always trying to improve the D4D experience in general. So I'll say there are features we're looking at for what's next, of how to continue to make that more efficient, effective too. So love that idea of it's almost like a retroactive. Hey, here's what did I miss while I drive?
Yeah, so, that's what I was thinking, right? Like,
yeah, love it. That's great.
Great
feedback.
What did you miss? But all right. So in that same scenario, you noticed a house across the street and you put that one in, but the system is also like, hey, I get you put this one in, but the system's like, but this one fits your buy box. I hate that term, but that it's just a.
I just use avatar instead of buy box. It's more fancy. It's a big blue alien.
Big blue. I was gonna say. James Cameron would approve, but yeah.
Can you pull up the mail component of this, right? So if you can actually start marketing to one of those houses?
Yeah, so you guys had mentioned that, again, when you pull that list of leads, when you add them in D4D, virtual D4D, however you're doing it, they're all going right here. You get all the phone numbers to work with. They're labeled DNC or not, but you can scroll down, and there's no skip trace button anymore. You can just, it's already ready to go. It's already loaded up, ready for you to reach out. Now, to mix that in with an automated, scalable strategy like direct mail is really going to be the best use of your time and resources to be able to really make sure that, again, it's all about that consistency, right? So if we jump into mail right here and go to postcards, this is a full kind of like mail center that you've got like 15 or 16 default templates already pre-built for you. Out of the 10,000 plus deals using DealMachine, most of them have actually been from our default templates, so they're tried and true here, and we've got a lot of options here for you to work with. But you can actually change up the sizing. You can put in ballpoint letters, which look handwritten. They're a little more expensive, so you want to not send that to everybody, but I'd say the high priority leads, I would consider these. You can actually, we do have door hanger options you can order, but I'd say all of this right here just makes it super easy for you to kind of continue to build your own postcards or like from scratch, or use our default templates. And then once you have those ready to go, you can then create what is called a mail sequence, which is essentially automating the order and frequency with which you're sending this mail. So we could come in here and say, yeah, I want to create a new, REIAF mail sequence. Great. I want to send them this postcard just once. Then I want to wait 21 days and send them this postcard, and then just once. And then I want to come in here and send them this one. I can actually change up the wording or the templates that I've created, so I can always be sending them something new, and create how often you want it to send. So it could be every 21 days. It could be once a month, once every 2 months. But the key is that you're creating some kind of automated order that we then can go to our leads and say, awesome, I've got the REIAF sequence. Well, what, that list that we just pulled over here, why don't I start mailing all of those leads? So select them all, hit start mail, and choose that sequence I just created. And now I know they're going to get 8 mail pieces. It's going to cost me this much to start sending them out, and hit start mail. And an hour later, our mail house is starting to fulfill them. So that's all really easy for an entire list to send to, or to send to one-off, properties as well.
It's way better than handwriting postcards or letters. I've done it all. And when I was using DealMachine and using the mail, like, I cannot express, from someone who's done hundreds of thousands of mailers, how nice it is to have it just automated.
This works.
Just even in the design aspect, right? Because first, even yesterday when we were working over a new campaign, we were going to update our pre-foreclosure campaign for direct mail, right? We do all of our direct mail in-house. Just sitting down and rewriting the letter, right? Like, all right, well, what does the copy have to be? What does the graphic have to be? When you're first starting out, you don't understand any of this, right? The marketing behind it, the science behind it, and then you get stuck in the weeds, always trying to build it out instead of just clicking a button and for the next 3 months, this person's going to get these postcards, and I'm going to follow up in this order, and I'm going to say X, Y, and Z, right? Most people don't have the system and processes in place to be successful, and you guys are providing that, right?
Well, and it's
it's
all in one spot. Like you don't need to go get a CRM. You don't need to go get, this is everything.
You don't have to hire out a mail company and all that, right?
You don't
have
do
to
you use for mail? Like, I use this. I use an app. Like, look, I'm going to mail your house every day now, And I just can't believe someone, especially starting out, is going to. There's so much value.
You just built a list in no time, and I think that was over 300 was on that list.
It was like 233, something like that.
Yeah. So that was
232.
Yeah, that's brainless, right? It's smooth brain operations, and that's the way it should be. Don't reinvent the wheel. We tell this to people all the time. Don't reinvent the wheel. These things are tried and true for a reason. Keep it simple.
And that's where it is. Like, when we're talking about this playbook, it's, again, build that list with the consistency you're talking about. Build that list so you can D for D, virtual D for D, pull lists, all of that to kind of, use data and use your own, effort of spotting these properties to really create the best list of the most motivated leads that you can in your market. And then the next step, like you said, is consistently marketing to them. So the direct mail piece is a huge part of that. It's going out there and being able to just click send mail. You can track the whole thing in the mail center right here too. So it'll show you, here's the mail that we just scheduled, right, that we're sending off next. Here's what I've sent. That all goes out automatically for you, so you don't even have to think about it at that point. And then you also, again, have the one-to-one marketing methods, like the direct calls and the, through these phone numbers right here, the texting, the door knocking, the, all these individual things that we're showing you guys. And then that third step of the playbook is what you said there. It's like, how do you continue to follow up to close deals and be very confident in the offer you're making those individuals. So we have a couple tools in here to help with that kind of part of the whole process of once you're in touch with that individual, how do you work that lead? You mentioned the light CRM features. That's absolutely in here, where you click on one of those properties. You can actually go to activity up here, this fourth tab over, and this is where you can actually take notes and add tasks for yourself. So if I'm talking with Jane right here or Mary, I can just add or I can add a note, say like, hey, yeah, awesome. This was, an inherited property that they don't want to deal with anymore. They're, behind on taxes and and here's, it needs a new roof. It needs XYZ, like anything around that, just add those notes and, post that to the lead. And then create a task for yourself right here to just stay on top of that and be able to say, yeah, awesome. I've got an appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m. to come by and see it. Great. Let me set that for myself. Perfect. And then create that task. And now tomorrow when I open up DealMachine, I'll see, hey, here's my task manager in this top right corner. And now, we've got this kind of, this little kind of list of tasks to be able to check off the boxes. So, that I'd say, like, again, you're building your list in those great ways. Just filling your entire funnel with leads there. You're getting in front of them over and over again. You're leading with action. You're not putting other things in front of you of potential obstacles that could hold you back from taking the right action. You're making conversations happen. And then, you're using these tools to help you stay on top of that deal and close it.
And so you're being consistent and you're being accountable to the sellers and yourself and your future. So you cannot be consistent without holding yourself accountable and keeping a list of, oh, I got to do this today. This has to happen, right? I mean, if you're not doing those things, you may as well just go get a job, because, I mean, everyone thinks that real estate is, oh, it's easy, get into it. And it's like, no, you're still working. You just have the freedom to choose what you're working on. And if you want to be successful, these are things you have to do often and perfect. And once you perfect it, just repeat it. And that's it. That's all you have to do.
There we go. And like you said, don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. One thing we didn't touch on, actually, is buyers. Okay, so DealMachine, I want to just touch on and highlight, right? It is a way for you guys to actually find buyers, right? Cash buyers for your deals. So as I'm pretty sure it's one of the quick filters is just cash buyer. And then if you put in one of your properties, you'll find cash buyers around that house. So you can kind of like reverse engineer who's actually buying in that neighborhood. All right, then you can, because dispositions is the same thing as acquisitions, guys. You have to underwrite the deal. You have to make sure it's a good deal. Then you have to go out, cold call. You have to put in work to sell that deal. If you're going to wholesale, let's just say, right? Dispositions just as hard and important as acquisitions. So it's double side. It's up the opposite side of the same coin, or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
Sounds right. Great example though. Like you said, hey, what we've got to really, in terms of when you're looking at the map and overall filters, this quick filter button is going to really help you out with a ton of these shortcuts in general. And then if you can't find it on there, that more button, you can then kind of search and find. Again, you're sifting through hundreds of data points here, so you can just search for, like you said, sale date, or a variety of different factors right there. But just if I zoom in right here, if I have a deal literally on this block right here, you can see, hey, if I want to pull cash buyers that have bought single family homes on this little block right here, awesome. Now I've got let's see, 3 right here. 3 right there to be able to reach out to. So you've got the cash buyer filter right there. The other two that I love that are great for kind of identifying more specific cash buyers, if you scoot out here, let me zoom out here for me. If you go over to your more filter, I don't know if you guys have used either of these, but we also have demographic data, right? We have data about the owners themselves. And so, cash buyer, that's a great quick filter. Another option is you can actually type in and say, owner is a house flipper is one of them. So you can come in and, it's based on transaction history and be able to come in and say, yeah, are there any flippers in this area? Great. I've got 11 that are 11 properties that are owned by flippers, in this area. You've got these little dots pointed out. Another one that I love in addition to that, when it comes to using our demographic data, is the owner. Let's see, owner has multiple properties. And you can even dig in and say the number of properties owned. Let's see. Yeah, number of properties owned. So you could say, oh, they have more than or equal to 10. So they've got a big portfolio. So all these little things. Now we've got hundreds of properties that fall in a portfolio that's bigger than 10. So you've got multiple ways to be able to identify people who are potential cash buyers or potential investors that would want your deal.
Under the same subscription as everything, right? So it's not an upsell product, right? That's what I'm trying to get across. This same data from a competitor is worth thousands of dollars annual that they're going to charge you just to find buyers. And it just blows my mind that people, just because of the name of it, but whatever. Sorry, I'm sidetracking myself.
You had a question for him?
I didn't. That was the.
Oh, that was the question.
No, that was the question.
Yeah.
Finding buyers and stuff like that, right? Like,
love it.
Yeah.
What I'll say, the only two other pieces I did want to briefly touch on, it kind of has to go with closing the deal, that last phase there. Especially for newbies, I know coming to that ARV number can, it takes some practice. It takes, you have to be really, reliant on data to really tell you like, hey, how do I come up with, great comps? How do I, do this as quick as possible to make a great offer that I'm very confident in it's going to sell? If you're going to wholesale it. Inside DealMachine, you've got really two main tools to help you with that. So I want to briefly touch on that for you guys, if that's okay. But I can show anytime you click on a property, really quickly here, you've got a comping button. So here, let me find a even better example. All right, here, let's click in here. This little comps button right here. So you see info, we talked about mail, we talked about activity for the notes and tasks. The comping button right here. I don't know if you guys have used our comping tool much, but awesome. So this is something that I think is super powerful, especially for the newbie, is you get access to this on desktop or mobile. So you can get this on the go while you're in the field at a seller appointment or anything. And it's pulling in MLS comps right here. So it's actually showing you, hey, based on MLS sold data, here is properties that have sold within the last 3 months. They have a square footage range of plus or minus 15%, which is all adjustable. So, it's somewhat comparable in terms of size, comparable in terms of year built range. So, the architecture is somewhat similar. We've got 0.5 miles as our default in here. You can, change that, of course. And then bedroom, bathroom, you can mess with that. And now, oh, great, I can, I've got all these 9 comps to choose from. Well, let me look at all the ones on the west side of Kings Highway, because I know on the east side, it's a different neighborhood. Great. We got this all lined up. Perfect. And now you can see in real time the dollar per square footage of your property based on MLS data right here. So comping, that is one awesome way that having that tool right, in your hands to be able to work with. One awesome way to get to that offer number. And then I can show you the other one, but I want to pause there if you guys have any questions first.
No, I was
again, when you first start out, people ask so many questions. How? I can't believe how easy you've made the process, which is actually very annoying because I wish it was around, in 2002, 3, 4. It would have been great. Right. But,
you guys had the hard days. Yeah.
Yeah, I did all the hard work for you. Thanks, man.
People always ask, how do you buy a house $50,000 under market value or whatever, right? How do you buy a house at 50%? That's how you do it, right? You pull up the comps and you sit down with the owners and you have hard discussions about what the house is actually worth, right? You're the professional. You say, all right, listen, XYZ, your neighbor's house sold for this. We have it right here, right? Your house doesn't look anything like it. It needs X amount of work done to it. So that number, show me where you got that number from, right? Oh, you're taking that number from here? Well, obviously, that's a comp that has to be repaired. And like, so just being the professional, having more data, having accurate data, holy shit.
In one spot. Not having to go 7 different sites, platforms, tool, like it's just.
I added DealMachine into our automation for the system. So anytime a new lead comes in, it automatically throws it into DealMachine. And then I have to go later on and delete them because we fill up. But I have it go into DealMachine as like a quick filter. So the team will get a text message saying, hey, 123 Main Street just filled out a lead form. If they're out at the movies or if they're not near the computer where they can't pull up MLS and actually comp it or do homework on it, let's just say quote unquote homework, they know they can pull up DealMachine on their phone, pull up leads, and it's going to be the newest lead in there, and it's going to have the information on it. The lead, usually it'll tell us right away if the owner name matches our lead, right? That'll be a red flag there. Values, right? Again, it just gives my team tools in the field that they don't have when they're not there, right? Like, so.
Love it. Jessica's cracking me up. She says, you're making Nick's head hurt.
Yeah, I was trying to ignore that. Jessica's a bitch in my eyes. I love you, Jessica.
What was the next? You said there was another one you like.
Yeah. So final tool. Yes. So the last tool I want to make sure to show you guys, so that way people are again getting that full playbook and using everything as much as they possibly can to really save them time. This one, there's a lot of creative uses to it. So have either of you guys used Alma, the assistant we have in there? Do you know about this even?
No.
Okay. So it's specifically on DealMachine Pro and up. So for everybody who's a starter, great. Like use it to try this stuff out. I can throw the link back in there. It's just dealmachine.com/REIAF. Everything we showed off today, that you get a 7-day free trial there. There we go. You get the postcards, the unlimited skip tracing, all that stuff is included in there. I'll say if you're trying out Pro, last year we actually launched the first of its kind AI real estate assistant. So it's a little co-pilot built into DealMachine, and what it's using is if you've used ChatGPT at all, it's that API. It's plugged into DealMachine. It's using, we have a bunch of prompting for it that we're doing on the back end and kind of helping guide it, and then we're using all this data that we have that ChatGPT normally doesn't have access to, and really feeding it that to say, hey, help us think about how to analyze this property. Help us think about how to calculate the offer price. Help us think about ways that we can be reaching out to the seller. And probably the top 2 use cases that we've seen over and over again from the last year is deal analysis, so helping you run the numbers, as well as like anything around language. So writing a text for you, writing an email for you to reach out to the seller, a postcard, anything like that. So if I click on a property, here's what it looks like. I've got, let me find a little better example here. Awesome. So we've got this property right here, bottom left corner, this little glowing orb. You click on this guy. It says, hi, my name's Alma. I'm your AI assistant. What do you want to know about this property? You can go in here and say, hey, you know what? Help me analyze this property. I'm looking at wholesaling it. It'll actually come in there and it'll use, again, we have very high level estimated rehab cost data right here. It's that's probably the number one thing I would double check is rehab cost, because it's more of a general algorithm there. But it'll come in and say, well, you know what? Here's what the max allowable offer. Here's the equity in the property. Here's repair, and here, based on that, is that max allowable offer. You know what? The repairs are probably too big. This might not be a good wholesale deal. So on the spot, it'll go through and actually use the standard kind of ARV times 70% minus rehab minus assignment fee as your max allowable offer number. Compare that to the equity in the property and help you on the spot make decisions on if that's a good lead or not.
Stop making it easy for our competition. That's all Tony's saying, right?
Well, dude, with all this stuff, it walks out now. It's a productivity tool. Like whoever embraces this stuff first is really gonna. I mean, you can do, like, it's pretty incredible to see even our team like our rock stars, the work they could have done, for one person, now they can do for 3 or 5, because they're embracing tools like this to be more productive. And so going in there, even that next step, okay, cool. Help me calculate the offer price for this property. I want to wholesale it. It'll come in here and use that max level offer number and come in and say, okay, well, here's what we think the ARV is, here's, times 70, here's what we think the repair costs are, lay that out. Here's what if you want an assignment, and it kind of goes through that entire thing in front of you. And you can even have a conversation with it and say, you know what, I think the ARV is 200K. What should my MAO be? And you can actually go back and it'll say, well, you know what, let me redo that for you. And it'll redo the math for you right there. So pretty incredible.
Is there any way you can default to 65% minus repairs?
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's I'd say a lot of these AI tools, it can kind of adapt to how you work with it. So yeah, you can essentially work with it to be able to set that as a your own formula. I'll say in general, like the deal analysis piece is probably the number one use case, but you can actually tie back and forth and come up with other creative ways to use it. Like people use it for, text message. Okay, here's a text to send out. Okay, cool. Write me 4 more SMS messages. And now you've got 4 more options right there. So you can kind of get creative with it. And I'd say those are just probably the 2 main ways people use it. But I mean, anything, all kinds of stuff.
On the amount of prompts you can give it or anything like that? Just wondering.
Nope. Unlimited on this. So
I'm going to go in here and have my kids start doing their homework.
if it's real estate related, it'll be really good. So
yeah, right.
Apparently, no one has seen the movie Terminator. Like this is, you guys are.
I just want you to know, I'm going to be the day Skynet goes online, I'm going to plug in and just. I don't care. I'm waiting for it. I'm excited.
In
Matt,
general,
thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah,
man,
I appreciate both of you guys. And in general, like this, whether it be the AI tool or all of it, like we just want you to be, again, more efficient, more effective. Use it as this tool to take you from 1 to 10x the work of what you could normally do. So I love showing this stuff off with you guys. Great questions, and this was fun. So
one thing that we talked about a lot today, and we never mentioned it once, was the word cadences, in a sense, right? How you should go about reaching out to clients, how you should go about reaching out to leads and stuff like that. You guys have it built into yours. If anybody needs help with cadences, where to take people next, in the comments is our toolkit. All of our cadences are in there, all of our text message blasts, all of our emails, how to analyze a deal, all of that is in the toolkit, so click on it and download it. The link for DealMachine is in the comments, so click on it, get your 7-day trial. I promise you, if you put in the work over 7 days during that free trial, you will lock up a deal, right? And then you just got to take on and keep on doing it, okay? Matt, anything you want to end on, or anything you left out?
Yeah, I mean, consider me a resource, guys. I mean, we've got, if you're going to try this stuff out, we gave you that link. Go through that link before you would just go through our website, because it's going to give you way more perks. It's just at dealmachine.com/REIF. We also have Unveiled coming out again on big event on July 1st. Really excited to be able to share with you guys everything going on there. That's going to be so this coming Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have a ton of giveaways on that. A lot, full training on all the new stuff we're launching. So you guys will have to have me back on for me to do that training for you guys too. And then outside of that too, I mean, we also really invest a ton in our support team. So you've got, as you're using DealMachine, you've got there's a little text chat for you, which they get back to you in 5 minutes or less during business hours to answer your questions. And we also have office hours as well. So if you do dealmachine.com/office-hours, so office-hours, that will be a bookmark for showing up to talk to our head of customer success 4 days a week. Like Ryan gets on there and answers your questions, teaches you how to use DealMachine. So we just want to pour as many resources into you guys as possible, help you be successful. And when you win, we win. And let's go find some deals, guys.
You guys have like a weekly coaching call for your members and your clients, right? Like, so
yeah. So that would be the one you came on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You invited me on. I didn't realize what I was going to be on. I thought it was going to be a 3-way conversation like this. And then you're like, all right, let's go. And 190 people joined.
There's like 200 people are on there.
And I was like, oh what's going on?
I'm insulted. He doesn't even buy houses. I wasn't
panicked,
invited
I
on.
panicked.
Like what? Like I'm confused. But you didn't have the guy that does the deals on. That's insulting.
I do need to get both. I did mention like I'm like, hey, we need to do one with each of you guys. So you know,
No,
Tony
we'll
will be
definitely
next.
be back on it anytime you want.
Yeah.
But
Well,
thank
yeah,
you so
it
much
was
for
a good
coming
time.
out, Matt. Honestly, huge appreciation. Anybody need anything, reach on out, reiaf.com, DealMachine, download it. It's an amazing tool. If anybody needs anything, reach out. We're always available. Till next time, keep crushing it. Peace.
Thanks, guys.